this is something as a freelancer. This is a point that I want to make, because a lot of clients they'll only see the output. They'll only see the end result, right? They don't have a big appreciation for what actually is involved in the code, and also, quite rightly, they won't understand the need of reevaluating a project, a feature's code after the feature has gone live. From a technical point of view, they'll obviously understand how to do it from a user's point of view, from a business point of view. Let's see if we can try and alter this feature to get more users subscribing. Let's see if we can alter this feature so we can, upsell products, that kind of thing. But not from a technical point of view, not from I've written this piece of code, let's see if I can make this a little bit easier to read and maintain for the future things. And so they don't necessarily have that level of appreciation, and it is a bit awkward when you are trying to explain how one needs to refactor code in order to make it better. And this is unfortunately a driver of legacy code, where a programmer comes in and they don't necessarily take a look under the bonnet of the stuff that is already there. So they either go off and make their own stuff, not realizing that something is already in place, that they could call upon to do that, or they realize that in order to make the code clean for what they're doing, they would then have to alter the code that was already being made, and that's an awkward conversation, because you're coming back to the client with, yeah, well, I could do it like this, but it's going to take a longer to do. But in the long term, for you, it's going to be brilliant, because it's going to allow not only me, but other developers on board to make better, quicker, easier changes. So it's the distinction there of thinking on a long term rather than, it's a short term. Because quite rightly, when people want a feature in a website, they want it quite quickly. And that's just the part of the parcel, part of the conversation that freelancers have, and other developers as well. I mean, it's not just freelance, but when you're working with some sort of product owner who isn't technically minded, then there is a level of education that is needed to bring them on board to the changes of existing code before you actually get to the point of adding new features. And unfortunately, if that conversation hasn't happened, then you're going to end up having all sorts of legacy code upon legacy code upon legacy code, where a programmer has just worked in isolation on something and either hasn't appreciated what is already there, so they go and reinvent the wheel, or they get scared that something needs to be changed quite drastically in order for them to make something nice and simple. And so they end up just bolting on something that they've got, that they've just created, reinventing the wheel and all of that stuff. That is the opposite of refactoring, because when you're reinventing the wheel, you are creating something that is similar to what already exists. And one of the points of refactoring is that you shouldn't repeat yourself.